A very warm welcome to yet another episode of Chess Cop. I am your host, Eugene Bahati. Recently, the mighty, the majestic, the one and only Arsenal Football Club won the Premier League.
Arsenal, the Premier League champions!
After a long wait of 22 years, and that was such a big deal because it caused quite a stir in the globe, the world over amongst football fans. Kenyan fans, for example, brought the city of Nairobi to a standstill.
This is not London. This is Nairobi. Precisely. Kenyatta Avenue. And this is Kitengela. Increasingly known as a political flashpoint, but today, the face of a football festival. In dramatic fashion, Kenyan fans of English club Arsenal Football Club localized these celebrations thousands of miles away as the club ended their 22-year jinx to win a Premier League title. Social media was flooded with videos of celebrations, showing gatherings of Arsenal fans across the country. The spectacle was extended to churches where worshippers donned the red and white jerseys to give Arsenal a colorful Kenyan celebration.
And again on Wednesday afternoon. So I thought to myself, that is the league. I am a chess player, and in chess we have a chess league. This presents a worthwhile opportunity to market chess in Kenya especially, and to draw comparisons and similarities, if any, between football and chess. So tonight joining me is an accomplished arbiter and an official of the Kenya National Chess League. I'm talking about Dennis Wambugu, who will be joining us and sharing more insights on the league. We'll be talking matters participation, schedule of play, fair play measures, award schemes, sponsorships, and the future prospects of the Kenya National Chess League. So, Dennis, karibu sana, and thank you for making the time.
Thank you so much, Eugene, for having me onto this podcast. You're indeed doing a good job, a commendable job. We're celebrating you out here for broadcasting the Kenyan chess story and also, keeping us updated. And congratulations to our rivals, Arsenal, for winning the league. But we shall be back at the same time. Thank you.
Rivals. I figure you're not an Arsenal fan yourself. Which
No, I can never be. I can
Hey.
never be.
Which team were you rooting for?
The team that has won the Champions League and Premier League record number of times, that is Manchester United, the mighty Manchester United.
Would you say Arsenal were just lucky or they truly worked for it?
From a football perspective, they did put up a very good fight. They, in as much as we may be haters, I think they really did play sweet football, commendable football. From a footballer's perspective, I would say they had eyes on the goal. They worked all ahead of it. But anyway, there still remains that Manchester won against them in all the so. But good, I think from where I sit, Arsenal quite deserved to win the game. Watching their games, every match mattered to them. You observe how they maintained a smooth run all through. They totally deserved to win. I would say they put up a commendable fight for it. So yes, it was a good run.
Right. Congratulations to them. And you giving Arsenal their flowers is just the true mark of sportsmanship. That is also what every accomplished sportsman advocates for, and especially the subject of our discussion, the sport of chess. I'd like us to quickly shift gears and talk about the Kenya National Chess League. Now, I've been a player myself at least once. I joined the league in 2022 back when I was in campus in JKUAT. I was a member of Lighthouse Chess Club. I played in the Super League, yes. It was an eye-opening experience, and I look forward to returning to that space. Please paint for us a picture of one. I understand there are two divisions in our league, that is the Premier League and the Super League divisions. What is the distinctiveness between these two, and how can one join?
Thank you, Eugene. The Kenya National Chess League currently houses 68 teams that are participating in the league. The league is divided into two main tiers, that is the Premier League and also the Super League. However, the Super League, since it has majority of teams, it's again subdivided into two other main divisions. So we have Super League A and we have Super League B. The league started in Kenya back in the 1980s. We've had a series of league secretaries who've been there before me. The first league secretary was Bernard Wanchala, I think between 2006 and 2007, after which International Arbiter Class C, Anthony Kionga, was the league secretary. Then after that, we had International Arbiter Faith Kamau. Then now I'm the secretary after Faith. The league is managed by a committee where we have Isaac Babu as the chair to the committee. We have Madam Rhoda Etole, always known as Mama Chess. She's the treasurer to the league and also the Chess Kenya Federation representative. Then we have myself as a secretary to the league. We have Mr. Solomon Munio and we have Mr. Edwin Othiambo as well. We have Anthony Kionga and Faith Kamau as well as members to the league committee. As of how somebody joins the league, we are currently in the 2026 chess season, which started about in April. That's when we had the first fixture. Now the league runs all the way until November. That is when the last league fixture will be done. So once the league ends, come January, we are going to advertise again and we're going to give out the guidelines of how somebody can register. The league has three main levels. We have the corporates level, we have the universities or rather the institutions level, then we have the private clubs level. So you're going to put up an advert, then you're able to check where your team lies and then you can register into that tier. Then after that, the captain will be co-opted into the captain's WhatsApp group where information will be rallied after that. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for that clarification. Now, you just mentioned some titles for the officials, the chairperson, treasurer, secretary, and all that. I'd like us to zero in on your title, the league secretary. What does this entail as a role? How does Dennis come in? I've been seeing you as a member of the various chess WhatsApp groups in Kenya, posting regularly the matches, the fixtures, and all that, and other updates relating to the league. What does the league secretary role entail?
The secretary is simply an administrator to the league. In as much as we have the committee running, the secretary simply oversees, or rather does the technical aspect. Let me put it in a way that it's in simple terms. This is a technical person who oversees the league and how it runs. Basically, your work starts from rallying up communications, having teams register. Of course, then you work hand in hand with the treasurer to ensure that the registration fees are paid. Then after there, now you do the most important responsibility of coming up with fixtures according to the registered teams. Then you have to get a venue where the matches will be played. Then you have to coordinate with the arbiters who will be arbitrating, come up with a clear plan or rather a layout as of who will be arbitrating when, because at the end of the day, the league presents a very important norm to all the arbiters. So again, it totally does involve a lot, as I would say it. So that's generally my responsibility, putting in structures and ensuring that the structures are totally working.
Right. So now to the layman, we're comparing football and chess. Let's start with the fixtures. How different or how similar are they? I tried getting an understanding of this. If I may just quickly share my screen.
Yes.
I tried reading the cross table, the rank, and I was totally floating. So is this how, and I'm also not a big fan of football. So comparing the two, is this also how the football cross table interface looks like, and any difference if at all?
Totally true. Of course, there's a bit of a similarity, and also there's a bit of a difference between football and chess in regards to the cross table and in regards to the league. Again, borrowing from football, you may find that there is a time when there is a fixture between Manchester United and Arsenal. However, on that particular day, there is what do I call it? An environment issue, or rather, is too much rains. It becomes unbearable. Then that particular game is postponed, and it is played at a different time. Same thing happens to chess. You will get to find that we have many teams, and one thing that I may want to highlight, when you go on chess results and you go to round 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you may find that in round 1 only one team has played, yet there are other 8 teams that have not played. A bit of explanation to that. How our league is currently structured is that we have teams coming from all over. However, in the current Premier League, we only have a gel of teams from Nairobi and Kisumu, where Kisumu has 3 teams, and majority of the remaining 14 teams come from Nairobi. So if you do the pairings, it's a round robin system where each team has to face the other team. If you do a round robin, then it may be out of the 16 rounds out of the 17 rounds that are going to be played, um, you'll find out that there's a time when a Kisumu team, only one team, will be coming to Nairobi, and they only have one fixture. Now, if you look at the financial obligation of that, it's totally not, fair at all. Or rather, there's during a certain fixture, there's a time when a Nairobi team is traveling to play a Kisumu fixture only once. So to avoid that, what the committee rather opts to do, or what as a secretary we look at, is we try and fix the games to ensure that we have a super weekend, where at a super weekend gives reference that you're playing 4 games in that particular weekend, 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday, or at the worst, 3 games are going to be played per team. Well, of course, you may find some challenges where we have odd number of teams, where maybe there are 1 game or 2 games that are hanging here and there. But the objective is that by the time you're clicking December and November to be precise, you will have played a maximum of all the matches.
Right. Now, so just picking up from where you've left, 2 quick questions. This aspect of traveling, I can imagine there are teams coming from as far as Kisumu, for example, Kisumu Chess Club, there is Mombasa Chess Academy. In the spirit of cutting costs, is there a possibility of these teams playing online? Because I'm imagining a situation whereby a team cannot travel due to either financial constraints or an event, an unforeseen event like, say, during COVID. How was the league played during the COVID pandemic? Is there a possibility of hybrid or fully online to accommodate such? And two, in the conventional tournaments of individualized playing, in case there is an issue with the game, it is usually recommended to report as soon as possible. Say you have an issue in round 2, it does not make sense to come and report in, say, round 5. It's just a lot of work to the arbiters. So what happens when a team has a concern and it is noted and reported to you as the secretary, say in the last legs of the league? What would you do in such a situation? Just asking as a layman.
True. So during the COVID time, we had the online chess league. Of course, it has its pros and cons as well. But in this current league, we do not have a hybrid system. Um, we've managed to structure the league in a way that we're only having one fixture weekend per month, so you are able to plan adversely. For example, this weekend we're finishing the final, that is the 30th and 31st of May. We'll be finishing the final laps of May's games, and then we'll head into June 13th and 14th. Then after that fixture is done, then 25th and 26th of July. In such a position, or rather in such an instance, if you are unable to travel, then you're going to forfeit the games unless there is a very pressing issue that there are guidelines again as of how you need to observe the same in regards to postponement. There are conditions that must be observed when you're postponing. There is a timeline in which you have if you're going to postpone a match. You've asked the last question to do with in case there's a concern in the last legs. Okay, yes. So remember, we are all being guided by the FIDE rules, and as a secretary and also acting as a chief arbiter to the league, in as much as I'll have authority over the decisions that are being made by my arbiters and by myself as well, at times as a human being, of course, human is to err, I may not make the correct decision. In such a position, you are allowed to escalate the situation. We formed the appeals committee for the very first time, and that's a committee that simply puts the chief arbiter into check, or rather the arbitration into check. And we always try to observe that matters affecting the league in this weekend should be resolved within this weekend. You don't need to escalate it and wait for the last weekend for you to say, in round 2, I had an issue, it was not listened to. So that's why we have an appeals committee to help in, adjudicating the same. So yes, we handle issues as they come, and at most will not escalate even before we go to the next round, leave alone next weekend, next round. Before we get to the next round, we'll have sorted.
Right. And when we're still talking about arbitration, I have always observed a very high level of professionalism amongst arbiters, especially during the Kenya National Chess League. Being a team event in my early period as a player in the league, I expected a lot of confusion, but especially time management, that was very critical. Games were communicated in advance. They would start at 9 a.m. sharp. 9 a.m. sharp clocks. The chief arbiter declared that the clock should start running, whether your opponent is there or not. And the games just continued, results were collected. In fact, at one time, I was late because of traffic and the rains, but the standards had to be maintained. And for that, I would really like to applaud the arbiters, both in the individual capacity as well as those participating in the league. While we're still on that topic of arbitration, let's talk the rules. One, recording is a must. And with me, I have score sheets. It is a mandatory requirement for the games to be recorded. So to our layman audience, a score sheet is basically a true account of the game. It's a chronological record of the game. Say, from move 1, white played this, black played this, and both players are required to record their moves as well as the opponent moves. So each score sheet should tally so that in the event of a dispute, the arbiter counts, cross-checks, and also for record keeping, as a player, you also need to go back, analyze, and that's how we get better. And yes, so record keeping is a must. Two, all players per team should wear their branded uniforms. I'd like Dennis to clarify for us, what does this entail in terms of branded uniforms? What would be the effect of someone just popping in? He's known to be a member of Club XYZ. What would happen if they just came in with home clothes? I mean, you know me. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, so definitely, just like football, where you're not just walking in any jersey, you'd have to be dictated by your team outfit. Same case to the league. We have our own rules and regulations, and part of them is that you must be uniformed. We escalate it a little bit higher, and we say must be the same color and the same logo. the reverse of that is that if you're not dressed as such, then that means you're going to lose the game automatically. Not defaulting, you're going to lose the game automatically. So yes, these are rules just help to ease in identification. Of course, you'll also feel satisfied and accounted for when you have Pima Doll Chess Club all lined up in yellow t-shirts with their logo out and showcasing it. Same case, it's all about promoting our clubs and also promoting our partners and associates. We now have a website that we are using, and you must declare beforehand, at least 7 days before, what is the color of the t-shirt you're putting on, and that just helps in ease of identification. In as much as all that is happening, we also want you to be proud of the team that you're associated with.
Very, very well put. I never knew about the default period of notification that this is the team colors will be. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. I'd like us to shift a bit back to playing. Are these league games also transmitted via DGT? DGT is a platform and special board which transmits games worldwide. So a movie is made and it's automatically reflected on the internet, so anyone in the world can follow that. Are these games also live streamed? And now, from your arbitration background, talking about fair play, I understand there's usually a delay period of is it 5 minutes or 1 minute per move? How does this translate to fair play and also meeting the spectators' needs? I'm talking just achieving the sweet spot of spectating versus also fair play.
Yeah, true. DGT stands for Digital Game Technology. This is a software, or rather a company that has partnered with the World Chess Federation in coming up with DGT boards that transmit the games. For the very first time again in the league, we have adopted the use of DGT boards. Kenya has about 10 DGT boards, but 8 are functional. But at least going forward, we'll be having extra more. This is in a bid to broaden and to increase the visibility that our league has. What is the delay time that is permittable, or rather, what is the delay time that is used on the DGT boards? Currently, we do not have a delay time. It is instant. As a move happens on the board, it's able to project on leeches, or rather on chess result. But maybe going forward, courtesy of fair play, we may have a necessity of introducing a delay time where, to curb cheating, although we've had very minimal cases of cheating in Kenya, to curb cheating and also to promote fair play. So we can just have a delay time of 30 minutes. So maybe if the games are supposed to start at 9, the games will start broadcasting at 9:30.
This gentleman here, he is speaking modestly about DGT and arbitration and fair play, but he himself is an accomplished DGT arbiter. I think he's actually the senior most DGT specialist in, I hope this is not high praise, maybe in the continent even. You paint for us a picture of that accreditation. I recently saw that on your status, something to do with the USA and DGT and yeah.
Yeah, so I've done 2 seminars, or rather, I have 2 accreditations. One is through DGT, the company itself, although I'm still waiting for the international seminar to undertake it. Then I also did a seminar on ID Chess. ID Chess is also a transmission software that was undergoing a test in Africa. Only 3 countries were chosen to do the test, that is Kenya, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria. So I happened to land the opportunity to be the Kenyan representative to undertake the seminar. So I'm also licensed to undertake transmission through the ID Chess software. But in Africa, I wouldn't say that I'm one of. I wouldn't say that I'm one of the best. I would say I'm growing. I would say I'm only growing.
So we've played for whatever duration this is. As these players and teams are playing, what are they setting their eyes on? What is there to look forward to after the league, the results are out? I'm talking about awards and the prize fund. What is the price structure for the league?
Number one and most prestigious is bragging rights. Once you get to win the league, I think KCB has won the league for a record 10 times. Equity has won the league for a record 5 times. But we are seeing interesting clubs coming up. We are seeing the dynamics changing. Currently on the leaders board is Marvin's Tacticians. Last year they missed on the podium by a whisker. So that's totally a good development. Or the same that chess clubs are growing amongst themselves. We have an award structure that is curated to support the teams. I may not want to speak about that as of now because the committee is still deliberating on the same, and hopefully by the time we're starting the next fixture, the awards will be announced. But from what I got from the previous committee meetings, is that the award structure will be much higher, or rather, it will be a little bit improved from what was given out last year. At least the treasurer promised that during the inaugural and the opening meeting. So yes, we do have prizes.
Right. And speaking of developments, I recently noticed there's also an increasing uptake of younger players participating in the league as well. The league is not just a preserve of adults like over 18. We're seeing younger and younger players. Case in point, in my 2022 appearance for Lighthouse Chess Club in the Super League, I was paired by one Nathaniel Manyeki, who was playing for Marvins. I'm not sure which Marvins, but it was a Marvins team. That boy was strong. He was one of the strongest players I've ever encountered. At that time, he was only 9 years old, and he gave me a run for my money. The game ended in a hard-fought draw, and hats off to Marvin's team, Coach Tom Amwai, and the youngster himself. What does this mean for the future of chess players, teams especially, and the young folk in your view?
Yeah, so let me say that the future of chess is currently in the hands of the junior participants. They are doing quite well. If you play against Nathaniel today, you'll understand what junior chess talks about. The Kenya national champion currently is a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, Jadon Simiyu. If you would play against juniors like Winnie Kaburo, juniors like Cassidy, the likes of Zuri, these are people who will, do wonders, and that has reflected in the African youth last year and also partly this year. So it's quite a huge development. I would say that the league is a backbone of the federation, where we have majority of teams, and it's also where majority of players are being, discovered. We have a player like Elvis Muigai, an upcoming player from Alliance High School, and also a player from Safari Knights. Safari Knights joined the league for the very first time this year, and they are performing quite well. So you see, it's quite a platform for the young players.
Right. And after the league, what is after the national league is over? I understand there are also international competitions. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's Africa teams and then World Team Championships, right?
Yes. We've not yet gotten to that level, but maybe in the future, when we are able to pull a sponsor or a partner at two, the long-term objective is that maybe the winners are supported to go and participate in the world competitions, or in the world teams, just to have a bit of competition and to increase the momentum and also the motivation around it. So we rarely do participate because of the cost involved in informing the fact that you are taking a team of 12 to go participate in the world teams. However, we've had Equity Chess Club that has, time and again represented the federation. I think as of last year, Equity was the only African country that participated in the world teams or world corporates chess championship. But you see now these are only happening at corporate level. But we are hoping that in the days to come, the league is able to support the partners or support the winners in such a meeting.
Right. So, like, if you are to give an estimate, let's say there's a potential sponsor out there watching this, how much are we talking, if possible, a range that they can say, oh, that's within my portfolio. I can even do that as CSR with my company. How much, like a range, how much are we talking?
Well, you may not equate it as much because you see, you need to talk about tickets, you need to talk about accommodation. That alone should blast to a budget of about 5 million upwards. You've not factored in registration. We need to be at a position where we are also able to have some allowances for the players who are participating in the world teams event, etc, etc. So it's a journey. I would only say it's a vision written in bold, and maybe where the league ought to be in the years to come.
All right. Now, as we are wrapping up, I'd like us to address the future prospects for the Kenya National Chess League. There's been a clarion call for chess to adopt shorter time controls in the interest of one, attracting sponsors, and two, sustaining viewership. Normally, chess has been known for the classical time control, which is the long format. I'm talking 90 minutes or 90 minutes with increments of 30 seconds per game. So technically, a game can last anywhere up to 5 hours. Are we seeing possibility of adopting shorter time controls? For instance, rapid or blitz in the future to
It's,
to attract more viewership, possibly.
it's, it's a discussion we can always have, but majorly I would also want to underscore the fact that in as much as we have administrators who are in charge of running the league is basically run by the captains as well. So it's a proposal that we are yet to look in, and this will mainly affect the Super League divisions. The reason why we would be proposing that to the Super League divisions is because of the majority of teams. It's a discussion. Let me say it's in as much as it's already been 45 minutes plus 30 seconds has been adopted as a standard time control. It's a discussion that needs to be agreed upon by the captain so that then we forge the way forward in unison. So um, majority of the discussions are mainly pioneered and also led by the captains.
All right, very well put. Now, I'd like you to give us your parting shot, and while you're at it, I'd like you to talk to that potential sponsor, that corporate entity that has not yet fielded a team or teams in the league. What is there for them to gain, and any other words you may want to put across?
Yeah. Once again, Eugene, thank you for the opportunity to discuss more and enlighten people about the National League, the National Chess League. As I started by mentioning, you're doing quite an incredible job, an incredible opportunity, and may you keep up the good work. To any partner who may wish to support the league, not necessarily us, but you may want to support the league at a regional perspective. Let's say counties may adopt their own leagues. There's a lot to gain. One is, visibility, marketing, um, where they'll be showcasing their what they do in their brandings, etc, etc. So there's a lot to gain, right from marketing to branding, through banners, through reflectors, through recording sheets, inscribing your logo, having mentions. And we are prospective that one day we'll be able to offer commentary of the league going forward. So yeah, and thank you so much for hosting me. I think that would be my parting shot.
All right, my pleasure. That has been Dennis Wambugu, everyone. FIDE arbiter Dennis Wambugu, a very accomplished chess arbiter and secretary of the Kenya National Chess League, is talking about sponsors. If you're out there, this is a very welcome venture. It is worth your time, effort, and money as well. And to the players, he's calling on adopting fair play measures. And yes, that has been it for Chesscorp. podcasts, we've been talking about the recent development whereby Arsenal FC won the Premier League after a very long wait of 22 years. Hats off to them. Congratulations on that. And we're comparing football and chess, specifically the Kenya National Chess League, the status quo and future prospects. From myself, Eugene Bahati, looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.